Going back to 1983, we heard The Fixx with Saved by Zero right here on That Modern Rock Show. And The Fixx are coming to Teaneck, New Jersey, right in our own backyard at Mexicali Live next Saturday night, June 9th. And The Fixx also have a new record coming out called Beautiful Friction, courtesy of Kirtland Records. And on the phone with us, making his second appearance on the show, is Cy Curnin from The Fixx. And we did, in fact, speak a couple of years ago regarding your solo album, Solar Minimum.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, it's nice to see you again then.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because The Fixx haven't had a new record out since around 2003, so it's been almost 10 years. What prompted this return to the studio?
Yeah, well, it's just that we had that driving urge to work as a band. I mean, the Fixx is a strange beast. Comes and goes, and when it's ready, it's ready. We started doing a few recording sessions a couple of years ago and liked what we did instantly, just letting everyone do what they felt like doing. And within a couple of weeks, we had some solid songs that we thought it was really worth pursuing. There might be a whole album there, so we just kept going. And then by last summer, we had a really good session in California where we spent 2 weeks and wrote, I think, 6 songs that were all based around what's happening in society at the moment. And, you know, the Fixx is very much, we use social structure as our backdrop. So you had the Occupy movement was going on, you had the crisis was really showing its teeth, you had all the things that the Fixx likes to sing about. So we just kept going and inspiration flowed.
Well, years ago you had How Much Is Enough, and now some songs addressing these topics on the new record, Beautiful Friction. Yeah. And I, not to give things away, but I got a chance to listen to it through the, the professional radio channels, as they say. And
cool.
it is a strong album.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, it's like, you don't want to expect too much, but I'm really proud of it. Like, sounds like one of our early efforts, like even Shuttered Room, where the pressure was off when we wrote it. We had nothing to prove except everything that was inside us just to spew out. And I'm very proud of it, too. I think we all are, actually.
And the album comes out July 17th, and you can get a sneak preview of some of the songs live next week, next Saturday night, June 9th.
Yeah, we're up in your neck of the woods, I believe.
Yes, indeed. Mexicali Live. You know, we talked about how the sound of the record might be reminiscent of some earlier records. There is a drive and an urgency to the songwriting and the playing on this record.
Yeah, I think the kids have left home, left us more room to party.
But you did mention the Occupy movement, and how does that factor into the record?
I think that people, if you're alive today, there's a real urgency to understand what it is that being alive is. There's so much advantage that's been taken. There's a lot of accountability questions floating around. There's a lot of strange money gone missing. There's unfulfilled lives being lived. There's a sense of more isn't more anymore. You know, well, what are we working for? What is time? What is money? We're all parents. We're all mortgage payers. We're all active members of society, and we're all kind of like, the hell is going on? We've got to make some noise, and the only way, our job is to just make some noise about it and just try and unify people to feel there's this collective strength from the bottom up, not the top down.
Just curious, did you were you watching the Occupy movement on television, or did you go and see any of those demonstrations when that was happening?
Yeah, I walked around the one in New York. My friend lives down on Wall Street. I walked around very, very early stages, just when it was setting up. I saw the first generator being kicked into life. And I remember some cynical old guy said, this won't last long, just wait for winter to come along. And they didn't quite know what happened, but as soon as the cops started macing, innocent little Miss Mop who came to just join out, it sort of woke up the masses. And then I was out in L.A., and I figured there was a genuine need to just get the mandate out there, and it was right that there was no one person leading it, because it just shows that people are, we are a collective. There is no one face, no one leader. But at some point, we are going to need to get some talking head in front of another talking head that represents that's going to be the next step.
I did enjoy the fact that both political parties were completely bewildered by it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
They didn't speak a language. They didn't know where it was coming from. They had no kind of agenda that they could float their mandate on. And yet it comes from people's guts that enough's enough. You know, and that's good. And it also came from the young people who had been called the Y generation, you know, the lost generation. And people would sort of go, oh, the young today. Well, the young today didn't have an instrument in making the world the way it is. That was done from preceding generations who fell asleep at the wheel. And I felt it only fitting that they were waking up trying to carve a new future for themselves, because no one else seems to be doing it. Everyone's cashing in on their chips and banking it in offshore business. We were making our record during this, so there was an energy to it, kind of a social responsibility to not just be fat around the waist too much, or fall asleep and just do it for the wrong reasons, I guess.
If you just joined us, we're talking to Curnin of The Fixx. They have a new record coming out called Beautiful Friction on July 17th. But sooner than that, next week, next Saturday night, June 9th, catch them at Mexicali Live here in Teaneck, New Jersey. By the way, the new record Beautiful Friction features the classic lineup of The Fixx and also a George Underwood album cover.
Yeah, we've got George back on, which is great, because his paintings and our sound seem to evoke another dimension that when you put the two together, you understand it. When you see them apart, they're apart. So, yeah.
Yeah, he did the cover for your big breakthrough in the States, Reach the Beach. And by the way, I don't know if I'm right here, but I seem to recall The Fixx being more popular in the United States than even in your home country of Britain.
I always put that down to the fact that I'm half Irish and half French, but I was born in England. When I lived in England, I never felt English. When I lived in France, I never felt French. And when I came to America with all the rest of the mix, I went, this is where I belong. Maybe there's a way that the Fixx works that we disconnected over here. Rock radio, there was a breadth to radio here that wasn't so pigeonholed, because the Fixx music wasn't quite new romantic in the early 80s. We were able to find our niche through rock radio, as well as having some success at pop radio, and that gave us a little bit more of a hook in America than we had a chance to get in England or the rest of Europe. Back then, Red Skies and Stand or Fall, there was a lot of AOR, a lot of classic rock radio. Well, it wasn't classic back then, it was just rock radio.
Oh, yeah.
Was kicking in, but then MTV kicked in and gave us sort of a national programming across the country, which gave you a huge pop connection through the videos, and we just hit it right. We were in both formats at the same time, and it just gave us that extra kick needed.
Let me ask you, we were talking about the old days, the old machine that was in place to sell and distribute music, and MTV and how important that was in your band's career. And of course, nowadays MTV doesn't even play music anymore.
Yeah, it's funny, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've been lucky enough to sign a deal with Curnin Records that have distribution through Sony and all this stuff. So far, so good. They've hired, as you say, rightly said, there's no big record companies, but there's a lot of great independent people that are working out there that were attached to record companies before. So we've hired a lot of independent people to help us promote the record. In the meantime, I was doing my solo records the last couple of years. I was testing out how it would be if we had to market these things ourselves from our own site and do it all that way. It was great because it gets you closer to the fans. You sell maybe less, but you make more. But we felt with the Fixx that when somebody kind of came along and offered us a deal, we were like, okay, this is good. We can fly a higher flag up a higher flagpole. And if somebody was willing to invest and help out, then we felt honored to take it and try and go, chase a few rabbits.
I couldn't let you go here without talking about something else that's very important to you, which is the Love, Hope, Strength Foundation.
Yeah.
And you've got some more activities coming up later in the year, do you not?
Yeah, we've got Colorado Rocks in July. It's got G Love and Matt Drennan, and the School of Rock kids will be up there climbing. That's July 12th. And then we're to Everest for the 5th year anniversary in late November, December. And I'll be celebrating my birthday on 12/12/12 with the Love, Hope, Strength concert in Kathmandu.
Very cool.
20,000 Nepalese jumping. It's going to be great. And, it's altruism at its best. It's really good fun. So, there's a great website for that. And anything that's got rock and roll and trekking in it's got my vote. 'Cause I love trekking just as a sport anyway. So.
Yeah, no, you're quite the man for the altitudes.
Yeah, go figure. Nobody thought that little kid from London with asthma would be enjoying the mountains. Like, all I'm allergic to doesn't exist up there, so I really like it up there.
Once again, the Fixx are playing Mexicali live in Teaneck, New Jersey on June 9th, next Saturday night. And the new record, Beautiful Friction, drops on July 17th. We're going to hear a track from that album, Anyone Else, and you can find out all about the Fixx at the website, thefixx.com, and you guys are pretty active on there.
Yeah, we're pretty. We're all online, as what do you call it, surfers these days.
Yeah. Very cool. Thanks so much, Si.